What's going on, everybody? We're out here doing a little shooting today, and I had a question brought up in a comment on one of my videos. What do you have in your range bag? And of course I replied, that's a great question, but I'm too lazy to type it out. So here we are doing way more work to put on a video. So hope you enjoy. Here we go. Alright, so first things first, we got to address the elephant in the room. Obviously, this is my range bag. This is what the question was about. But I have a pistol bag, an ammo box, a belt, shoes, more stuff. What's going on? The range bag covers a lot, but this is going to be more a coverage of what comes with me to a match, or even for the most part, what comes with me out here to my practice range or anywhere else when we do a practice. So obviously the first and most important part is your gun. So I usually carry a main and a backup, and if I were to go to a match and this was my main gun, something happens with it, I can pull this flashlight off, stick it on this, and now I have a backup gun if worse comes to worse. So main gun, backup gun, some similar situation to that. In here I have a microfiber, then I have my magazines. Now I don't always carry my magazines in my middle compartment here, but sometimes when I know kind of where I'm going or what I'm doing, I go back and forth on what to do with magazines. That's just what it is. You'll see some more here in a minute. And then this little shower cap basically just goes on the gun, especially if I'm using a dot, if it starts to rain. Then very simple, on the outside there's more magazine storage here if I want it in this pocket. I'm not using it at the moment just because I threw those other mags in there real quick. And then the outside pocket, most important, got to have my gun butter. You need some kind of lube. I keep the trigger butter as well, the grease, but I don't use that very often. It just kind of stays in there now. And then if you're going to shoot a dot, got to have batteries. Those are the two most important things. The other little screwdriver for adjusting anything on a holster. And then I have some other stuff. Ooh. Another lens wipe thing and a good little knife. And then there's some just random parts and stuff that probably honestly needs to come out of there. Alright, so that's that. I'm gonna kind of save this for a minute. The other big thing is ammo. You gotta have ammo, and along with that comes the Maglula. Nothing gets more tiring than thumbing shells into your mag. Get you a little assistance there. Makes a long match day or range day much more tolerable. Ammo, I don't have any one kind that gets used. I have a handful of kinds, and it's just whatever comes available or is cheap or I find or I get a deal on, that's what I shoot typically. So we've covered the ammo. In this, just to add to it, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes, so 450 rounds of ammo. This is all Federal white box, the range and target. I like it. It works really good. but normally there's 450 to 500 rounds in one of these cans. Also, range shoes, very important, lightweight, good tread. You can be agile with them. Look, you can't go to the range in these and move the same way you can with these, so you got to have this. All right, we've covered our pistol bag, our shoes, our ammo. There's really just two more main things to cover now at this point, and that's the belt and the bag itself. The bag, the main thing that caused the question here. First off, let me point this out. Mag pouches, yeah, I don't really use those. I used to. For whatever reason, I don't. Other outside. Similar to the outside on my pistol bag, it's full of random crap, but there's a couple main things I use. First off, my staple gun. It's just the cheap one with the smaller staples, but for at home I use it. Some spare staples, and that's about it. I have a little screwdriver, which can be used for normal screwdriver purposes, or for like a punch. And then I have little samplers of gun butter that I used to carry in here quite a bit, and a normal gun butter tube. And that's just in case I come to a match or to a practice with a different bag than my main gray pistol bag. All right, the guts of the main bag. My main Ear Pro. This is the, I don't even remember the name, the Savior equipment. I won these at the Gator Classic in 25. The last major we went to. It was the random prize table draw. And so far they seem pretty cool. Real comfortable gel pads. Good audio. Which, nice. Were left on from the other day. But at the same time, I think they have a better... I haven't looked into them, but to me they seem to do better when left on, because I've done it a few times now, than these Walkers did. I have my backup set of Ear Pro with apparently spent brass in it. Having kids is wonderful. I'm sure that's where that came from. And these are my Walkers, your traditional razors, with the replacement gel pads on them. A little bit slimmer than these, but like I said, the audio side, if you're going to use that, has been a little bit less reliable over the years. More magazines. I told you there were going to be more mags. These are my Magpul 21 round mags that I put MBX spring and follower in to make them 23 round mags. I kind of end up using them as between 22 and 23 round, but still more reliable springs and higher capacity, even if it's just one round. Tape gun, and random pieces of brass, some random tape. Let's see. Rangefinder, chalk, almost empty, and a new bottle. Grip chalk, white pasters, backup iPro. We'll get into that in a minute. Timer, trauma shears, and a homemade trauma kit. And that is all that is in my bag. To go over some of this stuff, the trauma kit, it's a little homemade kit. We got some trauma shears as well. These I just picked up and I'd never used them for anything, so I just dropped them in here. These are for more like if something happens, hey, grab the bag out of my thing, and I have it all right here. No, I don't have to tell anybody to grab anything separate. And there's gloves, gauze, chest seals, all that kind of stuff in there. And I actually got to use it this year, use some of the 4x4s out of it at the Area 4 championship. Kind of an interesting story. We were shooting with Lena and Jerry Michalek, Jeremy Boone, all of that crew, and Jeremy injured his hand, cut it open pretty good, and we kind of grabbed some of those real quick to try to keep it clean and control some minor bleeding. Turning the bag here, the trauma kit takes up a full pocket. We've got these 4 pockets and the nice middle part. The shears clip on the inside, and then from there I just kind of find out where stuff fits. I use the clip on my timer to clip it on the inside of a pocket. My rangefinder, this is a Vortex rangefinder. It goes in here. The chalk goes in there, and the chalk is nothing special. It's the small bottle here was given to me. It's the last that somebody else had. It's Grip RX, and to try, and then I found out I liked using it, and then I needed some kind of in a hurry, didn't have time to shop around, so I just bought some from Academy. This is Harbinger liquid chalk. I don't like it as much, but it's better than nothing if you need it. Let's talk glasses real quick. Normally I run the Hunter's HD Gold. These are the active blues, and I have a pair of golds that I just got right before the gator, and I use those as the situation dictates. But in case something were to happen, I do carry a pair of shades and a pair of clears, and just these are some Wiley X cases that somebody gave me that they didn't use. But this is in case something were to happen to mine, I leave it somewhere, lose it, because I'm bad at keeping track of stuff, or if there's somebody that shows up to the match that they lost their iPro, or they brought a friend that they miscommunication and they didn't have iPro. It just kind of stays in there because I have the room. Those pack right in here. Then from there, I kind of take my spare ear pro. This is the hard part to fit in there, is the ear pro, but it goes. Tape gun goes in. It kind of works better actually if you turn it upside down and angle it in, and then the other one in there. Now, I don't normally keep mags in this bag. I just threw them in there the other day. I have a big fold out thing that I like, magazine book, that I didn't bring out here because I'm inconsistent at best on using it, and I don't really care for it. But since I already said I don't use this, I'm going to go ahead and use it and put these in here. Something to note, all of these mags right here, all of these mags are numbered, and I have my own numbering system that I do with different things, but in this case it's M1 for Magpul 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I just do that for multiple reasons. It's got an identifier for me on it, the number, and then the capacity that it's supposed to have. And then I actually, in black Sharpie in here, put what the MBX springs and the date that I put them in. So it's not like super visible, but I can see what it, if I need to like maintenance it, or I know when I put them in. So if I start having problems, I can just review that. The main reason to number your mags is if you have a problem with that mag, you can set it to the side and then come back to it later and review it and go, okay, it was this magazine. And then the reason to put identifiers on it, especially with Glock mags, everybody has Glock mags, and they will walk off with your magazine. Not out of spite, but because they didn't realize it if it's not marked. And the final piece, my belt. We've already gone over the pistol. Got an inner belt. Now, a couple years ago, right after they came out, I picked up the T-Rex Arms speed belt, inner and outer setup, and I really like this setup. I can crank this down on it and fold it over, which was better than the overlap system that the CR speed belt used that I was running before. So I could get it tighter or looser kind of as I went. If I had issues of it feeling like things had just started loosening during the day, I could unbuckle this and it would kind of just hold, and then I could reach inside here, open this up, pull it down, lock it down, tighten this up a little bit, rebuckle it, and we're good to go. We've kind of re-cinched everything. In the future, I will change this because I have found some drawbacks to this belt, but to me it was a big upgrade from where I was, and it's not a bad piece of gear. Probably would not buy it today, but a lot of that's because of 50% of it's because of the drawbacks that I found to it, which kind of comes into play with this. I'm running a Safariland mid-ride holster hanger thing, whatever you call it, and this is one of the issues. It moves around. Running the T-Rex leg strap that I've had forever, and then running the newer, to me, Blade Tech disc system that, similar to the Safariland QLS forks, allows me to interchange pistols with holsters, but also allows me to lock in some different tilt. Not that I do that terribly often, but well, I'll show you in a minute where that kind of comes in handy. I run a magnet. This is just something I pulled off a CR Speed rig and stuck on a tech lock just for admin purposes. Obviously does not work with the Magpul ones, but works well. I'm gonna give away what I'm gonna pull out here, but works well with other mags, the metal, for admin purposes, like I mentioned, or whatever. It works with standard Glock mags, though, even though they're plastic cased. The Tech Lock mini disc system, it's not the actual name for it, allows you all kinds of adjustment. I'm gonna pull back over here so I can get that set, you know, just where I want. Orient it forward, backward, upside down, all the stuff, or change it out. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. Again, the downside, even these Tech Locks slide a little bit on this belt, and with these discs I can actually take, it's mounted to the Tech Lock, but I could just mount this disc mount straight to a belt if it had holes in it, and that's kind of the direction I'm going to be going in the future. Saves weight, holds everything a little tighter, doesn't make me feel like I'm carrying so much. But I have little marks on here to try to mark where I put my deals, because when they're not fastened down, they move. CR Speed mag pouches that I modified to take the disc, and then one old T-Rex Mars carrier from like when I got started. Then more T-Rex gear when they came out with this, the shear and tourniquet holder. To me, this is a pretty slick system. It also has room for a Sharpie underneath. However, it takes up a lot of real estate. It's comfortable because it doesn't sit up like this, but it does take up a lot of space that if you had something else you needed to do, or you needed more room on your belt, you'd have to rethink this. So that may change in the future. Now, as I mentioned, all of this comes off and allows many different benefits. Changing angles, changing gear. One of the biggest benefits is it allows you to change the system that you're running. I realize this is not a benefit to some people, but let's just say I got a goofy idea that I wanted to come out and run my Beretta 92 on the practice range some. Well, now I can bring this holster rig, same belt, same everything. I don't have to have a ton of that. Drop the pistol on, drop the things on, the mags on, and I might want this angled slightly different than I did my Glock, just based on how the holster fits in, or the gun fits in the holster, how the holster mounts on the disc, how the disc attaches to the thing. So I can just have that slight adjustment, lock it in place. Same with the mags, I stick them in there. I can find just where I want it. You know, want it upside down, of course not, but gives you that full range of motion to do whatever you need to with it. And now I can LARP the 90s with a Beretta 92. So that's pretty much it. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this full breakdown of essentially anything and everything that I typically bring to the training range or to a USPSA match. IDPA is a little different. I shoot 1 or 2 of those a year. Things are kind of a little bit different setup. I typically shoot that with an appendix rig, so my gear looks different. But for USPSA multi-gun, something like this for multi-gun, drop this off, put a rifle pouch on there, rifle mag pouch, rock and roll. This is what I'm running. That's what's in my bag. I don't own an FN gun, but I do have the good bag from it. And I've seen actually similar bags that they just slap their name on it. Guys, hope you enjoyed this video on the things I typically bring to a range session or a USPSA match. One thing that's left out is the range cart. I didn't feel like I needed to bring that out. If you've been to a USPSA match, you've seen them, you know what it looks like. It's a big cart that we put all of this crap in so we don't have to carry it everywhere. Looks a little weird, but makes life a whole lot easier. If you've got any questions on this gear, hit me up in the comments, all of that. I'm not going to do the typical YouTube stuff because I never do. Maybe one day, but they haven't convinced me yet. But thanks for watching, and if you like this kind of stuff, let me know. As gear changes, when it changes enough to make a difference, we can revisit this and check it out again. But you know, when little changes happen, like, you know, a mag carrier changes or something small, that's not a point to do a whole video. So if you have questions, like I said, let me know. We'll address them best we can. And outside of that, y'all have a good one. See you on the range. Okay. There's really two. Gosh, dang it. Booyah!